Hello, Gilbo.
Good.
Tell me the truth. How much do you understand this Gemara?
It's so difficult. I mean, I go over it. I go to someone else's website to look at it. It's hard to grasp. It's like Luftsachen. Hi, Walter.
Hello, Harold. Shavua Tov u'Mavorach. How are you?
Good.
What's doing? Everything okay? Mario.
Walter, what's Master
Stop.
Walter?
Shavua Tov. Shavua Tov. How are you? Cut the recording for a minute, and I'll tell you to put it on, because what happens is when
It was very cheap. And they give you 300.
Use it internationally. I know you use it internationally. It works.
Yeah.
Look, everybody.
Zach.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
We are on Nun Hey on the Bays. It's going to be Nun Vav today, 56. We start on we start on the bottom. Amar Ravid Amar Shmuel. Ein chayav mishum tuma, ela al orech 187 al rochav 135. So the dimensions of the Azara is 187 length with 135 width. So that's what he said. It's about 365 feet long, a little bigger than a football field, long. That's where the Azara starts. And therefore, if you're tummy, you go there, you get kares. Tani Tan Kamei Rav Nachman. Kol Azara is 187 arochav 135. Amar lehachi amar liabak. Kegon zeh. Kohanim nichtosim sham va'ochlim sham kotche kotshim. The Azara halachically means that's where the Kohanim go when they have to eat kotche kotshim, like chatas or an asham. They can only eat it there. V'shochtim sham kotche kalim. All the kotshim are shechted there, including the kotshim kalim. V'chayavin mishum tuma. And if someone's tummy goes there in the Azara, you get kares. Now lemute mai. Now we're saying it's this area alone. It must be telling us, oh, and this other area, you don't get kares. What is it excluding? That the windows, the area, let's say, in between the windows or the doors, or in the space, the thickness of the wall, and they would have a din of harabayas and not the Azara. Well, Tanina, there's a beferish tika baraisa. Chaloina is foy ve'achayma kilfnim. It's considered like the harabayas. Elel me'ute lishkos. There were offices that opened up into the Azara, like lishkas agozis, where when we learned in Masechta Midos, some of those offices, the part that opens up into the Azara, might have the halachic significance of the Azara. So what are we talking about? Ibno Yisbachol, if they're built completely outside, but psuchas l'kodesh, but they open up, v'hatnan, we learn in the Mishnah, toichan, kodesh, the inside of those offices are kodesh. So it seems that they do have the status of the Azara. So the Gemara answers no, midrabanan. They have a din of Azara midrabanan, but midin Torah, that if you were tummy and you walked there, you would not get kares. Frag the Gemara udaraisa lo. What? They don't have the status midaraisa vatanya. Lishkois benuyos b'chol upsuchos lakodesh. The offices that were built in Chulin, but they opened up in the Azara. It seems like they have the status of the Azara because Kohanim could walk in there and eat kotche kotchim, v'shari mincha, and the remainder of a mincha, which technically you can only eat by the Azara. Talmud loymar, it says Tochal b'makom kadosh b'chatzar ol moed yochluha. Why did you just say b'makom kadosh, which is the Azora? The fact that it adds b'chatzar ol moed, haTorah rivsa chatzeros harbeitz lachilas achas. That the Torah included these chatzeros to be able to eat kochim there. And if they're not kadosh, the Chachamim would not have allowed them to eat kochim in a non-kodesh area. So Omer Rava lachila shiny. It means the Rabbonim did have the power to say that these kochim could be eaten, not only in the Azor, but even in these offices that are open to the Azor. But it's not the same regarding the Shechita, and it's not the same regarding Chiyuv Kores for Tumah. Only Achila. Aval in Tumah lo. So the Gemara says, did they not create those areas for Kores for Tumah? Vatanya. Lishkos abnuyos l'chol upsuchos l'kodesh. These offices that were built in the Chulin area but opened up to the Kodesh. Kohanim nichnosim l'sham v'oichlim sham kochim. The Kohanim could eat their kochim there. Ve'ein shoichtim sham kalim. But you didn't shecht there. And then the chayovin mishum tuma. Now there's something wrong there. Lavrim at ein shoichtim sham. How can you say you're chayiv mishum tuma, but you can't shecht there? Tanitama ein chayovin. You have to change. It says ein chayovin mishum tuma. So it comes out that these lishkos that open up to the Azor were given the power that you could eat the kochim there, but you couldn't shack there, and you would not get kores if you were tom and you walked in there. So bishlma ein shoichtin. Well, we can understand perhaps why you can't shecht in these azoras, because it's lacking beina keneged Pesach veleka. One of the things we said v'shachatu Pesach olmoy. You have to shecht in front of the Pesach. These are on the sides, and therefore it might exclude the shechita because it lacks lifnei Pesach. But what about tuma? El ein chayav and amai. Maybe we should be chayav mishum tuma. So ulatamei, the way you explained ein shoichtin, milo askinan de ikka shechita keneged Pesach. We're talking about offices that perhaps were in front of the Pesach. The ileka. If we're not talking about shechita that was done in front of the Pesach, l'may yitzrach, what are we adding that these offices are different? If we have a baraisa that talks about these offices, must be it's different than the regular cases. And if it's not in front of the Pesach, you have another reason why you can't shech there. So rather, the Gemara explains, afal gav the koshachim keneged Pesach, even though normally, if you're lifnei Pesach, you can shecht, tani ein shochtin. Here, by the offices, you could not. Why mishum deloy kodesh? Because that Tana held it does not have enough kedushas azora in order to do the shechita there. So therefore, tani nami ein chayovin. That's why the same reason why you're not chayiv kores mishum tuma if you go into that area. But regarding achila, the kosuv was marbe achila in those areas. Freak the Gemara, how are we allowed to eat? L'achila lo be'inen keneged Pesach. If offices are not keneged Pesach, how can you eat there? V'atanya, Rav Yosef, Rav Yedoimer. Shnei pishposhin. Again, there were these two small doors. Hayu bebeis chalifos. When you walked into the ulam, on the sides of the ulam, there were the places where they kept the knives. And that was the way to sort of open up the space so that everything is considered lifnei Pesach. Goyven shmoina kidei la'achshir sazor lachilas kochim shchilas kochim kalim. In order to say that all parts of the Azor, even behind the Kodesh Kodoshim, even on the sides, it created the situation where everything was considered lifnei Pesach, so you could eat kochim, and you could do shchita.
Ernie, I just read they said that it was like a place where they kept all the knives, and that was that. It wasn't like two doors; it was where the knives were kept. That's
I said there are doors where they kept the knives.
the knives. Yeah, yeah.
Chalifos are the place where they kept the. But there was a Pesach that opened up so you can get the knives for the shechita. That's where they stored it. But it served another purpose. That since those pishpishim opened up to the sides of the Azora, it kashered that part of the Azora to be considered Lifnei Pesach. Because remember, the Ulam was like this antechamber that you walked into the Heichal. And on the sides of the Ulam, that's where the Beis HaChalifos were. So it comes out that even for Achilas Kodshim, you need Keneged Pesach. Ravina Samim Mekan Achila. No, only Shchita and the Tumat case. But Achila, you don't need Pesach. Frankly, more of Aksiv, it says by the Chanukas HaMishkan, Bishluas HaBasar Pesach HaMoed, V'sham Tachlu Oso. It seems to be a Befershtik Pasuk that the Achilas Kodshim has to be also Lifnei Pesach. Oh, and for the Gemara Kodshe Shoshini, the Korbanos for the Chanukas HaMishkan was only that generation. It was not L'doire Doires. So you can't learn from there that it was a requirement for Achila that you have to have a Pesach. Okay, new din. Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi. Minay l'dam shenifsa b'shkias achama. Let's say Monday morning, you shecht any korban. You shecht an olah, a chatas, an ashram, a shlamim, a toida. I don't care what korban it is. You have that day to process the korban. The zrika sadam has to be done before shkias achama. If you have not done the zrika before shkias achama, the korban is pasul. If you do the zrika, then you can eat. If it's a korban that you can eat, you can eat. And you can only eat it up until chatzoy salayla. By the next morning, it's already noiser, and you have to burn whatever is left over. Except the shlamim that was eaten for 2 days. So, dam is nifsal by shkias achama. And it's not roy lezrika. Shenemar, biyom akrivo ezivcho yeyachel. Biyom shata zoveach atamakriv. The day that you shecht is the day, the word hakrava refers to the zrika sadam. Biyom she'iyata zovech iyata makriv. But when it's beyond the day that you can't shecht at night, you can't makriv. For the Gemara, that pasuk kama boile. We need that for something else. Legufe. That says biyom akrivo as if ho. That's by a shlomim. And that gives you the halacha that a shlomim could be eaten Monday and Tuesday, up until shkias acham of Tuesday. So that pasuk is not available to teach me the other halacha. Im kei nema kra, you could have just said biyom zivcho yeachel umimacharas. Why add the word biyom hakrivo as zivcho lamali? Shmamina biyom shatazovech atamakri, biyom shiatazovech iatamakri. You can only do the zrika sadam on the day you shech. So v'dil ma'achi kam rachmana. The Gemara says maybe the Torah means this: Ikarv dama idna. If you did the zrika Monday, the day of the shechita, nisachel habasar idna, then you can eat it to Monday ulamachar and tomorrow. But ikarev hadam lamachar. But if you shechted Monday, but you did the zrika Tuesday, maybe nisachel abasar lamachar. Maybe you could eat the meat on that day, the day of the zrika, and maybe liyom ochra, and maybe the day after. And that's what the pasuk is teaching. Ibn Cain, if that was so, nema kra biyom akrivo yeachel u'macharas. Why add the word zivcho lamali? Shmamina that biyom shatazovech atamakriv. The day that you shecht is when you have to do the zrika sadam. Biyom shiatazovech. If the shkias achama passed and you can't shecht anymore, iyata makrivo, you can't do the zrika sadam. Okay, important halacha. Itmar. Machloikas amiroy. Hamachashev le'or shlishi. Let's say I told you if you shecht on Monday a shlamim, you can eat the shlamim Monday Monday night, Tuesday, up until Tuesday night. So if at the time of Shechit of the Shlomim on Monday, you had in mind Mechashev La'or Shlishi, to eat it Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, you can't eat it anymore because you only have the permission to eat it for 2 days. So the question is that a machshavas pigul or is a apostle dik a machshava? Chisyam or kosher. It's not a machshavas chutz lizmano. Because remember, you can't eat it Tuesday night, but you don't burn it until Wednesday morning. It only becomes noiser until the next morning. You have no permission to eat it. So what is considered chutz lizmano? According to Chizkiah, even though you can't eat it, it's not completely not its time yet. So therefore, that machshava does not passel that korban. Rav Yechon Amar passel. Chizkiah Amar kosher dehalo intik l'sreifa. The sreifa of that korban as noiser only is done Wednesday morning, right? Tuesday night passes, and then Wednesday morning, it's now the third day you have to burn it. So it's not Tuesday night. If you had machshava to eat it Tuesday night, that korban was not set aside to be nisraf yet. Therefore, it's not completely chutz lizmano. Rav Yechon Amar posel da'itchelei me'achila, but you can't eat it. So if you had in mind to eat it at that time, which is the time that you can't eat it, it creates. You notice it doesn't say pigul. Pigul. No, when it says posel, he means pigul because it's like a regular chutz lizmano. Okay. Chizkiah Amar potter. So let's say you ate of that meat. So, ha'oichel or shlishi, different machlokes. You shechted a shlomim Monday, and now it's Tuesday. You're allowed to eat it Monday day, Monday night, Tuesday day. You have to stop eating it Tuesday night. Let's say you ate from the meat Tuesday night, or shlishi. Chizkiah Amar potter. Normally, you get kores when you eat noiser, but according to Chizkiah, it's not noiser. Even though you can't eat it, it's not noiser yet. Deloy intik l'sreifa. You only have a chiyuv to burn it Wednesday morning. So if you eat it after Wednesday morning in a chadami, you get kores. But if you eat it Tuesday night, it's potter. Rav Yechon Amar chayiv. Da itchilei me'achila. You're not allowed to eat it, and if you eat it, it's already considered noiser. We paskin that way. We paskin like Rav Yechon. And we also hold like Rav Yechon regarding pigul. If you have in mind to eat of something that Tuesday night, that will create pigul. And if you ate a kores, if you had a kazais of that animal, you'd get kores als pigul. Tani kavazid Rav Yechon. There's a brisa to support Rav Yechon. Kochim anecholin liyom echad, which are all kochim except for a shlomim. Chatas, asham, korban toda. So those kochim that are eaten for 1 day, in mechashrin bedomim mishetishka chama, if you have in mind to do the zrika at night, or or to eat of the meat, or to put out the emurim on the mizbech, those, because you can eat atat chatzois, and you can burn the emurim all night. If you had in mind mishiyalo amar shachar, it's pikul. Kochim like a shlomim that could be eaten Monday and Tuesday. Mechashvin b'daman mishetishka chama. You have in mind to do the zrika Tuesday night. Uvei mishyalam shachar. And bibsaron the bibsar mishetishka chama shel shnei yomim. To eat of the meat already Tuesday night. So that's clearly a brisa like Rav Yechon that it already becomes noiser at that time. Ton Rabban. Yachal yunecholim la'or shlishi. I might think you could eat the meat of a shlamim even Tuesday night, and dinu is a kavachomer. Zvachim nechol miyom echad. Those korbanos like a toda, they're only eaten for one day. V'zvachim shechol shleiyomim, and a shlamim that can be eaten for 2 days. Ma zvachim nechol miyom echad. Lailach reyan. The korbanos that you can eat, like a chatas, like an arsham, like a toda, you can eat it at night up until chatzos. So you can eat it at night. So maybe av zvachim nechol l'shnei lailach reyan. So a shlam that you can eat it for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, maybe you could eat it Tuesday night as well. Talmud Loimar, the pasuk says, "Biyom zivchachem yeyachel," right? The day of the shechita you shall eat it. Umi machras, and the next day. V'hanoiser ad yom hashlishi bo eish yisarif. It doesn't become noiser until the next morning. Ba'od yomu nechol, ve'enu nechol or shlishi. You can only eat it Tuesday day. Once you have shkias achama, Tuesday night you can't eat it. Maybe you have to yachol yisarf miyad. Maybe you have to burn it by shkias achama. V'dinu. Zvachim nechol miyom echad. Those korbanos that you eat in one day. Zvachim nechol mishnei yomim. Ma zvachim nechol miyom echad. Tekaf lachilas reifa. Technically, you're allowed to eat until the next morning. We stop you at chatzos, but technically you could go all the way till the morning. And the moment the heter achila stops, you have to burn it. So that's why I would think that by a shlamim that I can eat Monday and Tuesday, comes Tuesday night, shkia, I should burn it right away because I can't eat anymore. Talmud Loimar, that's why the pasuk says, burn it in the morning, not at night. Mishnah. Habachor, these are the last korbanos. Bechor is the firstborn of an animal that you have to give to the Kohen. And it becomes a shlamim. The Kohen has to bring it at a shlamim unless it gets a move. Ve'hamaiser, if you're a cattle farmer, at a certain age, you bring all the cattle into the corral. They walk through single file, and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10th animal, that's the meiser. And you, that belongs to you, but you have to bring it up as a korban shlam. Ve'a Pesach, right? That's the korban Pesach that's offered Yud Daled Nisan. These three are considered kodshe kalim. Shchitas b'chol makom bazar. You can shech them anywhere in the zar. As opposed to all the korbanos that we've learned up until now. By chatas, we said you have to apply to the 4 kronos. By the ola and the shlamim, you did shtei matana shein arba. You splashed in one corner and the other corner, so it covered all 4 walls. Here, damam ta'un matana achas. You just have to play, because it doesn't say the word saviv. It says as ves damam tizrog.
Oh.
And therefore, you only have to apply in one place. As long as uvuvat sheyitain keneged hayisod, you have to do the zrika sadam on a part of the kir of the mizbech that has the yisod, which we said. There's one amma on the east side. There's a complete yisod on the north side, complete yisod on the west side, and one amma on the south side. So anywhere in the wall that has a yisod below it, that's where you can do the zrika sadam of that korban. Shina b'chilosa. The Bechor, Meiser, and Pesach, they have different parameters who can eat them. Ha-Bechor nechal kohanim. A Bechor is given to kohanim, and they eat it. Meiser is l'chol adam. Meiser, anybody can eat it. V'nechol and b'chol ha'ir. Both a Bechor and a Meiser could be eaten anywhere in Yerushalayim. B'chol Michael, and you could prepare it anyway. And they're like a shlamim. Lishnei yomim v'layla echad, Monday and Tuesday. Pesach, eino nachal ela b'layla. You shechted and did the zrika sadam of a korban Pesach, Yud Daled Nisan in the afternoon. But you waited to eat of the meat until the Seder night, until the Seder. That's why the Pesach night, you have to wait until Laila until you start the Seder. You can only make Kiddush after Tzesa Kechavim. And we eat matzah at Laila, because matzah is compared to the Korban Pesach. Matzos Morim Yochlu together. Now, Eino Nechol Elad Chatzois. Right? It was Machloikes. Chatzois, the more we paskin on Chatzois of Leil Pesach. Eino Nechol Ela Lemenuyov. You had to subscribe yourself to the Korban Pesach. You had to, in advance, I'm part of this Korban Pesach. Ve'eino Nechol Ela Tzli. As opposed to what we've been saying by all these korbanos, that you could prepare it any way you want. If you wanted barbecued, if you wanted roasted, if you wanted cooked, but the Korban Pesach had to be roasted. It could not be eaten raw. The other ones you could eat steak tartare. If you liked steak tartare, you could eat it raw, but you could not eat the Korban Pesach raw, and you could not eat it cooked, like cooking in water. Have to be tzli. Now, Tana. Who is this Tana? Where the blood of the Bechor Meiser Pesach is Nizrak ala Mizbeach. On Rav Chisda, Rav Yosef Glili, the Tanya. Rav Yosef Glili Oimer. It says, Ach Bechor Shor, O Bechor Kesef, O Bechor Eis, a Bechor of either an ox, a sheep, or goat. As Damam Tizrok ala Mizbeach, v'es Chelbam Taktir. The blood has to be thrown on the Mizbeach, and the Chelev has to be burnt. It doesn't say as Damam Tizrok Soviv, just like we said. Chelba lo nemer ela Chelbam. Their Chelev. Even though it's talking about a Bechor. Dama lo nemer ela Damam. Limed al Bechor v'maiser uPesach sheteuni matan damim ve'emurim legabe Mizbeach. Because it doesn't say anything by Meiser and Pesach, what you're supposed to do. Do you have to do it as Zrikas Adam? Do you have to be Makter Emurim? It's all learned from the Pasuk regarding the Bechor. Now, where is the source when the Mishnah said that the blood has to be thrown on the wall of the Mizbeach keneged hayisod minola? How do you know that you have to have a yisod? You can't throw it, for example, on the east side of the Mizbeach where there was no yisod, or on the south. Or Rabbi Eliezer, asya zrika zrika mi oila. It's a gzer shava. And it says, zrika by oila says zrika by these. So just like an oila has to be nizrak, where there's a yisod, the Bechor, Meiser, and Pesach have to be thrown on the part of the Mizbeach that has the yisod. Okay, stop here.
Okay, shkoyach.
Finish the parak.